Before we hear from the Minister, let's look at the rules as they currently stand. In Queensland, you have to be 16 years or older to ride an e-scooter or an e-bike. But for children over the age of 12, they can ride too, as long as they're being supervised by a parent. Speed limits are 12 kilometres per hour on a footpath and 25 k's an hour in a bike lane or on a suburban road. You do have to wear a helmet and you can't be holding a mobile phone while riding. It's one person per device, so no doubling. Unlike a car or a motorbike, the device doesn't have to be registered and you don't need a driver's licence. The trouble is, accidents are increasing. ABC News brought you the story this week of Jasmine. She admits she was going too fast when she came off her e-scooter and suffered terrible injuries. She was in hospital for weeks. It's one of the reasons why a parliamentary inquiry is investigating ways to improve safety. Minister, thanks for joining us.
Absolute pleasure.
What do you think about the rules as they currently stand? Are they strong enough?
I think it's fair to say that there's widespread community concern in relation to the existing regulatory framework for e-mobility devices. That's why we initiated the parliamentary inquiry, was to address those concerns. And the issues are quite complex as well. So I would say that I think the existing framework isn't meeting community expectation.
What kind of behaviours are you seeing, or what kind of reports are coming across your desk as Transport Minister that concern you the most?
At the worst end of the spectrum, we've seen 8 lives lost using e-scooters and e-mobility devices in Queensland last calendar year. We've seen a significant increase in the hospitalisations and the injuries as well. But I think broader than that, there's also community concern of safety generally, and what is the role of these e-mobility devices? How are they managed in terms of the fire safety risks? Our police have considerations in relation to how they might enforce the existing laws and regulations. They're reluctant, for example, to seize the device of someone who might be doing the wrong thing, even if it's illegal, because of the storage and disposal, for example, of the batteries associated with these e-mobility devices. So it's a complicated area.
Are police doing enough to enforce the rules? I mean, I saw someone not wearing a helmet on an e-scooter just driving into work today.
Yeah.
Are they doing enough to enforce the rules and actually, hand out fines to people doing the wrong things?
Yeah, it's a fair question. We've worked pretty closely with police since November to try to increase that enforcement, but it's fair to say our police probably are not well empowered to be able to police the existing laws. It's one of the reasons we want to look at what the regulatory framework looks like. So it's all well and good to have laws and regulations in place. For example, young people right now shouldn't be riding an e-scooter or an e-bike without supervision of an adult. I haven't met too many 14-year-old boys who want to ride an e-scooter with their mum or their dad, and I'd suggest that that's a law that's kind of set up to fail in the first place.
How far are you prepared to go to improve safety?
I'm prepared to look at any solutions that are going to address safety. I think it's fair to say that e-mobility devices like e-bikes and e-scooters have an important role to play, but it can't be at the expense of safety, and we need to get the balance right.
At the extreme end of the scale, would you ban them altogether, or are they here to stay?
I'm prepared to look at any of the solutions. I think the reality is they do have benefit in our community right now, but there are also situations where they're being used right now where the risk does not justify their use. For example, on many of the footpaths in and around populated areas, there have been instances where pedestrians have been seriously injured, and I think we need to improve that balance. But what I don't want to do is constrain the inquiry by premeditating the outcomes of that inquiry.
E-scooters, e-bikes, they can use suburban roads just like cars can. Do you think then that the riders should also be required to have a driver's licence?
Well, that's certainly an area that the parliamentary inquiry is looking at.
What do you think?
Well, I think there's jurisdictions where that already applies. There's pros and cons to all of these decisions. Getting teenagers, for example, onto e-mobility devices is a great way they can access opportunities they might not otherwise be able to. Get to a part-time job, for example, when they otherwise may not be able to. So we need to consider the second order effects of some of these decisions as well.
Yeah, and so I suppose if you go down a driver's licence route, you're suddenly then also looking at age limits, right? I mean, are you comfortable with 12-year-olds riding these devices?
Well, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding in relation to the existing rules. I was at a group of Year 6s in my electorate, and I asked them how many ride an e-scooter or an e-bike. About a third of the kids put their hand up, and I said, who rides with their mum or dad or an adult? Or most of the hands went down. The reality is they're all in breach of the existing rules and regulations and the laws. They don't know it though. So that to me is failure in terms of government regulating this space. If people can't even do the right thing because they don't know what the right thing is, then we've got a problem.
The parliamentary inquiry, it's going to report back in March. Can you say now whether you're going to accept all of their recommendations?
Well, like I said, I'm not going to preempt the outcomes of the inquiry, but we will respond to the parliamentary inquiry within 3 months. We want to make sure people have an opportunity to have their say.
Do you have a sense though, I mean, is it a minor tweaking around the edges that's required, or is it significant change?
I would say I don't think a minor tweak is going to get the job done, to be frank. I think community concern is fairly widespread. And we need to ensure that we address the multitude of different issues that exist in this space, and they are complicated. The considerations in relation to private use e-scooters, for example, are different to the considerations for the commercial operators. And we also need to address some of the issues that have been ignored to date, things like the disposal and storage of the batteries associated with these devices. That's a genuine issue, and the Queensland Fire Department have raised those concerns with me directly, but also more broadly with the government, to ensure that whatever we put in place can actually be implemented.
Minister, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, really appreciate it.